Good morning อาจารย์
Good morning.
Welcome to our first eMagazine issue. And today we have อาจารย์ Tan with us.
My name is Chai Chin Tan, and I'm with the School of Management. Very happy to be to share with you as a family, MFU family, and it is we together moving forward. Yeah. Well, I teach. I'm in management, and I teach strategic management, business ethics, corporate governance, operations management, supply chain, sustainability, and business research, organization development. Developing the organizations and the business competency, things like that. Yes, I did a lot of research on education because even though I'm not from the educational field, I know that education research is very important. So I do a lot of research on education. I started with understanding the brand perspective of Mae Fah Luang University. Then I start to analyze the students' engagement in Mae Fah Luang University. There are a lot of engagements I found out. And that, for example, the engagement at the cognitive level, the engagement at the agentic level, meaning helping each other, and also behavioral level, the way they do, the scopes of the activity they do, that's called behavioral level, and then extended to how we can motivate and do the pedagogical instruction so that students can build confidence in their career as well as in problem solving. So those are the educational. It gets published in TCI and also Scopus.
So we can say that the motivation is really important in our education.
Yes, exactly. Motivation is the trust. Energy. If we have energy, if we are being motivated from the inside out, that is really powerful. I encountered many people, many colleagues from Indonesia, from Philippines, from Malaysia, Taiwan, and India, and the other places in EU. So what happened is, for example, in Indonesia, they use a lot of the creativity. So what happened is that they try to establish the interactive engagement, cognitive engagement, but a lot of time they do not have the internet. And so what happened was that they have to go into the set up the videos, and then they try to see they compose the videos, and then from the video let the students engage in whichever pedagogical perspective that they want. So it could be asking them for critical thinking of that perspective. It could be looking into other perspective. So and that is a part. But other countries, they may look into more because they have less students, so they can more interactive in the classroom. For us, we have to go branded and also online because we have a lot of students, and so that we have to master the technologies and the pedagogical concepts in the branded and not only branded but also the educational the concepts and things like that. Not only my online classes, I do also research. I can share with you from my research experiences in terms of online classes. So during the COVID times, couple of months later, I did a research on looking into the data from various places in Thailand, including Mae Fah Luang University. I found out from, for example, two couple of perspectives. From the teacher perspective, the online classes to be successful, we got to ensure the teachers have to believe that they can control the branded situation. And in the research term, we call perceived behavioral control, meaning that they can control their behaviors on the online situation. And the other thing is and that includes the pedagogical understanding. So we have to really, I'm very happy that the new laboratory set up, and we have to implant, we have to transfer the knowledge of pedagogical or new concepts or new trend to the teachers so that they gains the confidence. Okay, that's one thing. And another thing is I found out the attitude is very important. Attitude of the teachers. So we have to ensure that there is a positive attitudes towards the branded learning usage. And that's very important. And the other thing is the social environment. the social construction, how I talk to you, you talk to me, how you positively share with me, and that kind of subjective norms or the influences among each other, among the colleagues, really make a very important for the branded learnings to move forward. Yeah. But the students also the same. We have to make sure that we have to ensure that the student has the ability, has the good attitude, and they know that they can be successful and that they can control the branded situation. That will also move them forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the social perspective, how can you make it happen on?
Well, in social perspective is very important. We can look at social perspective as a driving force for engagement. So what happens is that you have to put it into interaction. You can ensure that in the platform, in the the social media platforms or the online platforms, or interacting with the classroom, there is engagement. So engagements can be very different perspective. You can look into the level perspective, meaning students to students engagement, students to teachers engagement, students to society engagement. For example, I give a research project. I like them to go and engage with the society so that they can interact and create that social context and social environment. Yeah. On the other hand, you can look into the social environment engagement from the functional perspective, such as you give them assignments in terms of reading, or the thinkings or reflectings or talking or sharing, in the online. That is not easy because when we say reading, you have to read in the sense that is able to extract the knowledge, extract the information. You should be able to read in the sense that is able to see the organization of the concept perspective. Yeah. So there are a lot of the context, the social context is very important because there is a theory called social cognitive theory, and that means that your behaviors of learning and your cognitions of learning really depends on social environment. So we have to create the social environment by various means. Well, I think it's good. MFU is very active and very proactive. We are a very young university and we are very proactive. We never hesitate to jump into the branded learning. And in fact, during the COVID, when the starts, we already starting. Everybody is already starting sharing messages that we gotta move into branded learning. Yeah, so this is very, 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 very important. Yeah, so the students feeding back that there are certain issue or students think that it is very good, or students are not opening up their videos, and so that we have to use various means. So the key issue, therefore, is the educators, the trainers, the teachers have to be very, very sensitive to the environments at the online platform. I mean, the in-class we can see it, but we have to be very interactive with that, and we have to be able to draw the attention from various means, from projects means, from the interaction means, whatever. The project becomes very important because they have a lot of time. By not going to the class, for example, if you're looking into the online, they have a lot of sufficient time, and therefore they can really train them into getting more information, so they can really do a better and deeper projects. In fact, so we should look at it as a positive from the positive perspective. I think MFU University is located in Chiang Rai, and we are very intimate with the students. So the teaching is driven by intimacy and also driven by our ability to go field work. So we have to really go and touch and feel, and so like go to the communities, discussing or have a dialogue with the societies, with the business, or even simulation and laboratories and things like that. This is very important. And another thing is that we are very diversified. If, for example, in my school of management, even myself, I have to deal with many perspectives of research. So we provide the students with diversities of subjects. And that diversities of subjects allow them to create different cross-disciplinary understanding. And that diversities and cross-disciplinary and interactions and encounters allow them to build an understanding to appreciate diversity and social justice and ethical issues and sustainability.
Very good.
So that I think is the uniqueness of the Mae Fah Luang University, allowing students to interact, engage, diversity, cross-function, cultural. Yeah, I share with many of my experiences with colleagues from everywhere in the world. Now we are moving into disciplinary. Yeah. So if I understand the agriculture and they understand my management perspective, and then we can really allow us to interact with each others and generate better value, because values come from a cross-functional. Not from we focusing on ourselves. We gotta be very interactional. Yeah. Because eventually, when you work in the society, in a company, it's cross-functional, value chain, networking, supply chain, things like that. And we're moving into business ecology. So you have to connect to different sort of people. And so this MFU has continued to focus on this diversity. Very important. Yeah. Very good questions. And what happened is I can share with you. You're talking about the pedagogical experiences from now to the future.
Exactly.
So I can share with you. We can break down the pedagogical instructions or developments in three era. The before it was the culture focused era, meaning that we have to stick to a certain standards. For example, why as an educator, that is the themes of pedagogy. So what happened is that we educators establish the teaching, learning outcomes and objectives, and then the curriculum developments, and then instruction in such a way to be able to meet the standards of the society. And when I say the standard of society, that means the companies, for example, if you work as a mechanical engineers in a power plant industry, you got to know the standards of PLCs, things like that. And that is called standard. And so everybody focusing on culture, things like that. Then we are moving into the modern era, and which has more technological advancements you see today, before the productions and automation. So we are moving into the modern era. People want to actualize, people want to move forward, move outward. And so what happens is the educators start to be more student-centered. So we start to be, because students' actualization is coming from the students, not from me, not from us, right? Yeah. The students are very important. They need to actualize themselves. So what happens is the educator has to come up with pedagogical, and we call it pedagogy.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a pedagogical. Okay. It is the same as pedagogy, but it's moving into students' learning center, which is called pedagogy. And so what happens is we have to establish a condition to allow them to actualize themselves. Again, it's coming to social cognitive theory that I share with you, the social context, which is the question that you asked. And we are moving, because of the connectivity with the IoT, with the technology, with the internet, we're moving into a very wide diversity of choices. There's not much good names we can come up of. We can call it postmodern, but we do not subject that postmodern into those traditional literature or philosophical reviews of the postmodern. We got to move into. We are in a postmodern, but in a transition. Transition to something we do not know. I cannot yet figure it out, but I think it is about flexibility, connectivities, and a lot more uncertainty. And so in that case, which is really sharing with what you have just said before, which is that we have to move our educational system to open for not only the students, but lifelong learning. So because only the lifelong learning education that allow the students to be able to continue to gain knowledge, and they are the one that we are not the one that set up the strategy or the pedagogy. We have to allow the students to be able to pull and push, push us to do something or pull material from us. So they have to be the active components rather than the educators are the active component. That we call heutagogy. Heutagogy. So we are moving. So what you're saying is that the pedagogical experiences from the past to the present to the future. I would say that we are moving from pedagogy to pedagogy in combinations with andragogy to the futures of pedagogy, push and pull. Plus the andragogy, which is students learning. Pedagogy is more educator driven. And then the heutagogy, which is really students control. Students are the ones that drive, things like that. Yeah. So that would be the direction. And if we know that we are moving into that transitions postmodern situation in view of the social context, internet and connectivity and physical cybernetic situation. So I think our educational pedagogical movement has to move in that direction. So we can be in tune with the trend of the technology, with the trend of the society, with the trend of the businesses, and that would really motivate the people to be a part of the education. Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ajahn, to join us.
Thank you so much.